Sicce's line of general-purpose tire changes includes 3 models: the S530 general-purpose tire changer, the S540 general-purpose tire changer, and the S550 general-purpose tire changer. Please read the operating manual for your model carefully. It is part of the kit that came with your machine and will ensure correct and safe operation. This video has been made to help you learn how to use your tire changer quickly and thoroughly. In this way, you will be able to take full advantage of the many extras it can do for you. We hope you will enjoy this film and wish you every success in your work with your new tire changer. The S530 can handle without extensions all wheels from 14 to 26 inches, diameters to 1500 millimeters, and widths to 780 millimeters. Plug the tire changer into the main supply and switch it on. Check to make sure the hydraulic power pack motor turns in the right direction, shown by the arrow. If it does not, switch 2 wires in the plug. The portable control unit allows you to select the ideal working position during the various stages of your work. The control unit has all the controls needed. Move the manipulator up, the spindle raises. Move it down, the spindle is lowered. Move it to the left to bring the tool carrier and the platform towards the spindle. Move it to the right to move them away. Move the switch up to open the spindle jaws, that is, to clamp the rim. Move the switch down to close the spindle jaws, that is, to release the rim. The toggle switch foot pedal turns the spindle to the right or the left, as shown by the arrows on the pedal and also on the spindle. To shift the tool carrier from one work position to another, pull up the lever to release the pawl, tilt it back, and then push it into position, helping it along with your foot. To shift from the bead breaker disc to the bead claw, press down on the stop lever and turn the head 180 degrees. It will automatically click into its new position. The S540 general-purpose tire changer can handle all tires from 14 to 56 inches, diameters to 2,300 millimeters, and widths to 1,065 millimeters. Plug the tire changer into the main supply and switch it on. Check to make sure the hydraulic power pack motor turns in the right direction, shown by the arrow. The control unit has all the controls needed. Move the manipulator up, the spindle raises. Move it down, the spindle is lowered. Move it to the left to bring the tool carrier and the platform towards the spindle. Move it to the right to move them away. Move the switch up to open the spindle jaws, that is, to clamp the rim. Move the switch down to close the spindle jaws, that is, to release the rim. The toggle switch foot pedal turns the spindle to the right or the left, as shown by the arrows on the pedal. The spindle can turn in both directions at 2 speeds. Turn the switch to 1 for slow or to 2 for fast. To shift the tool carrier from one work position to another, pull up the lever to release the pawl, tilt it back, and then push it into position, helping it along with your foot. To shift from the bead breaker disc to the bead claw, press down on the stop lever and turn the head 180 degrees. It will automatically click into its new position. The S550 general purpose tire changer can handle all tires from 14 to 56 inches, diameters to 2500 millimeters, and widths to 1200 millimeters. Plug the tire changer into the main supply and switch it on. Check to make sure the hydraulic power pack motor turns in the right direction, shown by the arrow. The portable control unit allows you to select the best working position for every stage of the job. The version shown here is fitted with the optional radio control system to eliminate the cables connecting to the tire changer. The S550 is factory set up to have this optional installed whenever desired. Move the top manipulator up, the spindle raises. Move it down and the spindle is lowered. Move it to the left to bring the tool carrier and the platform towards the spindle. Move it to the right to move them away. These movements can be speeded up by pressing one of the side pedals at the same time. The right lever opens and closes the spindle jaws, that is, clamps or releases the rim. Here too, the operation can be speeded up by pressing one of the pedals at the same time. The foot pedal turns the spindle to the right or to the left, following the arrows on the pedal. To turn the spindle faster, turn the switch to 2. When the bottom manipulator lever is forward, the tool carrier is moved out of its work position. When moved down, the tool carrier is in its work position. Turn to the right or to the left, it turns the tool head to the right or to the left. Now let's take a look at how the tire changer handles different kinds of tires. Since all the versions work the same way, we will use the S540 as our demonstrator. The Sicce general-purpose tire changers are powered by high-pressure hydraulic systems to guarantee safe clamping of all tires. If the rim you are working on is weak or not very thick, it is a good idea to reduce this hydraulic pressure. Pressure can be regulated with the regulator knob and the pressure read off the pressure gauge. First, tilt the tool arm back from its work position. Bring the wheel onto the platform, move it as close as possible to the spindle and center the rim with this latter. Open the spindle jaws and clamp the rim. Clamping position will depend on the type of rim you are working on. Check to make sure the tire has been deflated. Lift it until the bead braking disc is as close as you can get it to the outer contour of the rim. Rotate the wheel and at the same time bring the disc into the tire a bit at a time, following the rim contour. Tilt the tool arm back. Move it to the other end and tilt it forward by the outside wall of the tire. Rotate the tool head and repeat the bead braking procedure until the second bead is completely detached. Remember that the tighter the bead is attached to the rim, the more gradual the bead breaker disc advance rate. The hook tool can be lowered during the bead braking so that it doesn't get in the way. Grease the bead and the rim drop center with tire soap or soapy solution while the wheel is turning. Put the hook tool between the rim and the bead and hook the bead. If the tire is stiff, it is a good idea to do this with the wheel turning. Move the rim slightly away from the tool head to stretch the tire. Put the bead lever between the rim and the bead on the right of the tool head. Move the hook towards the outside so that the red reference dot is close to the outer edge of the rim. Now bring the rim back towards the tool head and press down on the lever, turning the wheel anti-clockwise until the bead comes out completely. Tilt the tool unit back, lower the spindle until the tire is pressed against the platform. Move the spindle back a little to create enough space to pull out the inner tube. To remove the outer bead, insert the hook between rim and bead and move the tool until the bead is by the front edge of the rim. Move the rim away from the tool to stretch the tire. Insert the bead lever at the right of the tool and hold it down with the wheel turning anti-clockwise until the tire comes completely off the rim. Grease the inside bead and attach the PC bead clamp on the front bead at the top. Put the tire on the platform and hook the back bead onto the clamp. Raise the tire and position it crosswise on the rim. Put the claw tool between the rim and the bead about 5 millimeters from the rim with the red reference dot aligned with the outer edge. Turn the wheel clockwise until the bead is completely seated on the rim. Retract the claw tool and remove the bead clamp. Lower the tire to the platform and move the spindle back to create enough space to put the inner tube in. Put the inner tube in the tire and fix the valve in its seating. Inflate the inner tube slightly to prevent it from being pinched while seating the other bead. Position the valve at the bottom, attach a threaded extension, and then remove it. Raise the wheel, attach the bead clamp about 20 centimeters to the right of the valve. Turn the claw tool around and move it to the right of the clamp, inserting it between the rim and the bead. The red dot should be lined up with the outer edge of the rim. Put the bead lever in the seating on the claw tool and press down on it to guide the bead into the drop center. Turn the wheel until the tire is correctly mounted on the rim. As an example of a split ring wheel, here's a tubeless earth-moving machine tire. First, remove the ring to make sufficient room for the screw clamps. The screw clamps, an optional, clamp the inside ring to the rim. Repeat the bead breaking procedure, but this time move the disc against the tire. Remove the screw clamps and use the ring lever and bead breaker disc to remove the locking ring. Use the disc against the rings again to make enough room to remove the O-ring. Now put the disc between the tire and the outer ring and move it forward until the two rings are released from the tire and rim. Move the tool away, lower the wheel onto the platform, and take off the two rings. Raise the wheel and position the tool head to break the inside bead. Tilt the tool head back. Lower the wheel onto the platform. Push the tire off the rim, but be careful it doesn't tip over. Grease the bead and the rim thoroughly. Line up the rim and tire and bring them close together. Move the rim forward until it is completely inside the tire. Next, grease the outer bead and the outside edge of the rim. Put the split rings in by hand. Turn the wheel and use the bead breaker disc to replace the rings on the rim. Now insert the O-ring. Lastly, insert the split ring with the help of the disc. Let's try another split ring tubeless tire, but this time a tractor wheel. First, break the right bead on the tire. Free the split ring so that you can remove the O-ring. Remove the O-ring, but be careful not to damage it. Use the lever and the disc to take off the split ring. Free the split ring. Free the ring. Lower the wheel and take the ring off. Break the inside bead. Lower the wheel and remove the rim from the wheel. Naturally, to mount this kind of wheel, follow the same procedure in reverse order. Here's a third type of split ring wheel, a truck tire with inner tube. Break the bead on the tire and grease as needed. Remove the split ring as shown previously. Take off the ring. Move the bead breaker disc to the opposite side and begin to break the second bead. Watch out for the valve. To prevent damage to the valve, keep the disc a fair distance away from the outside contour of the rim. Lower the wheel onto the platform and move the spindle back. Check to make sure the valve comes out of its seating. To remount, grease rim and bead thoroughly. Line up the valve with its seating. Mount the tire on the rim, but always keep an eye on the valve position. Replace the split ring and the ring as usual. As we have seen, the procedure for split ring wheels is much the same for all wheels, whatever their size. Always deflate the tire before removing it. Don't forget that center drop rims are always clamped so that the drop is always towards the outside, that is, away from the spindle as shown here. Tubeless tires can be handled in various ways. Here are the most common. If the rim has a sloped drop center, soap the outside bead and break it. Then break the inside bead to detach the tire from the rim. If the rim does not have a sloped drop center, but is a super single or very stiff tire, break both beads and then use the claw tool to help ease the tire off the rim. Use the bead lever as needed to help the job along. Bead breaking and removing tubeless tires is easier if you use the tubeless roller available as an optional accessory. Grease the outer side of the drop center and move the bead over this to make it easier to remove the tire from the rim. Continue to move the inside bead until the tire comes completely off the rim. Grease tire and rim thoroughly. Place the tire on the platform and tilt it. Lower the spindle so that the bead goes into the drop center. Rotate the wheel and push against the tire so that it is completely on the rim. Use the disc and the bead lever to seat the second bead. Here's an alternative method. Use the rim clamp and mount the tire with the claw or the disc. To mount very stiff tubeless tires, mount the tire on the rim using the bead clamp. Use the tubeless roller to seat the first bead. Remove the clamp and put it on the front of the rim and seat the second bead. Here are the basic maintenance routines to keep your general-purpose tire changer efficient over the long term. Use naphtha to clean the spindle, the demount tool. Grease all moving parts regularly. Check the oil level in the hydraulic power pack through the minimum-maximum spyglass. Top up with SAE 20 oil. Check the oil level in the geared motor. When the spindle is fully lowered, the level should be below the sight glass in the gear housing. Top up with SAE 85 W140 oil. Use the grease gun supplied with the machine to add grease to the nipples at the following points: spindle jaw swivels, lift cylinder, bead breaker disc, tool carrier arm. Use a standard grade of grease. When ordering parts, always specify the tire changer serial number on the manufacturer's plate. A full range of accessories is available for all Sicce general-purpose tire changers. Here, we would like to highlight just some of them. A set of jaw extensions for the S540 and S550 to handle rims without a center hole and with clamping diameters in excess of 46 inches. Set of spindle jaws for alloy rims, designed for use on delicate rims with guaranteed protection. Radio control unit with microprocessor for the S550. Rechargeable battery, practical and safe for the utmost in operator freedom of movement. Thank you for taking the time to watch this film, which we hope will help you learn to use this marvelous machine. Everybody at Sicce, from production to after sales, is entirely at your disposal for any personalized assistance you need. Give us a call. Again, thanks and our best wishes for your work with your Sicce general purpose tire changer.